I am Joel Smith. I'm the chair of the Mississippi Children's Justice Act Task Force, and I support the statewide protocol for prosecuting child abuse cases.
I'm Andrea Sanders. I'm the Commissioner of Child Protection Services, and I support the Mississippi statewide protocol because it will help improve our ability to protect children.
My name is Sean Tyndall, and I'm the Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, and I support the statewide protocol, particularly for law enforcement, as we try to make lives better for our most vulnerable Mississippians.
I'm Ken Winter. I'm the Director of the Mississippi Police Chiefs Association, and we support the statewide protocol for child abuse investigation.
I'm Crosby Parker, and I'm the District Attorney for Harrison, Hancock, and Stone County, and I support a Mississippi statewide protocol to better help victims of child abuse.
I'm Carla Steckler-Ty, Chief Executive Officer of the Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi, and I support the Mississippi statewide protocol to improve the response to child abuse.
One of the great things about how this protocol has evolved over the last 3 years is the fact that there have been so many disciplines and so many types of professions who have been involved in putting together this protocol. It's not just one group of, whether it's social workers, law enforcement, prosecutors, judges, who have single-handedly put this protocol together. It's been a collaboration of multiple professions and different types of groups who have come together to make sure that we're serving children in the best way possible.
It creates a ready access point and a really predictable access point for numerous services that are absolutely essential for healing. Children's advocacy centers, first of all, are experts at interviewing children who've experienced felony child abuse and doing it in a way that starts to promote healing from the outset.
A uniform statewide protocol better serves the families and the children that are being abused in our state in making sure that not only there's a successful investigation, but that these children get into a safe environment as quickly as possible. And it brings together all the partners in the public safety sector to make sure that we're working together and sharing information so that these children get the resources they need and the justice that they deserve.
When you pull all of this together and then you put it on a local level, it doesn't make any difference whether you have a local team that's based out of Iuka or D'Iberville. They're all on the same page and they're all doing the same thing. That's an important, that's the key to success, what it amounts to.
Another important thing about the statewide protocol is not only are you going to have consistency in procedures throughout the state, but you're also going to have defined, clear responsibilities for each of the participants. And not only are you going to have clear, defined responsibilities, they're going to be based on the evidence-based practices. You can't beat that. And that's what we need to provide for children who have been victims of crimes. That's what we need to be able to provide for their families. And that's what the statewide protocol will provide.
The multidisciplinary team is a group of professionals that are required to respond in cases of child abuse. This is the core foundation of the Child Advocacy Centers. They are there to help navigate and support the multidisciplinary team agencies as they work together through the response to child abuse. So every agency has their own mandate. So for example, Child Protective Services is mandated to protect the child. The law enforcement is mandated to investigate the crime that occurred. Prosecutors are mandated to look out for the best interests or the safety of the community. So all of these may seem like they're aligned, but they're just a little bit different. And they each have a very important role in the response to child abuse. So the Child Advocacy Center is there to help keep those lines of communication open, help pull those agencies together to coordinate, to meet regularly, to make sure cases aren't slipping through the cracks, and ultimately to make sure that children and families are receiving the services that they need to heal.
A rising tide lifts all boats, and so it's important that providers, law enforcement, the court system, everybody supports the statewide protocol because it is the most effective way for us to investigate, for us to report, investigate, and prosecute child abuse cases.
It's important that law enforcement supports the statewide protocol because we're such a critical role in any of these investigations. And again, there's multidisciplinary efforts that take place, and in the past, the child protection services side of it or the mental health side of it might not contact law enforcement, or law enforcement might not contact those other disciplines. By educating and training our law enforcement, and then also making sure that we're sharing contacts and information, we can all work together for a better Mississippi.
So all of us having a consistent, agreed upon approach helps us focus on what that individual need of the child or the sibling set or the whole family really necessitates.
Criminals really don't know boundaries, and you can have an individual that maybe could be committing acts of child abuse in multiple parts of the state. So it brings in multiple jurisdictions and multiple agencies as well, and all of them being in concert as far as what this standard protocol, how it dictates how the investigation should be carried out. It's gives you a win-win.
Whenever you talk about a statewide protocol, what I think about is a consistent evidence-based practices when it comes to dealing, in my case, prosecuting children who've been abused. And what we need to have is it needs to be the same and consistent across the state.
Up until now, we have had different protocols in every single county. So that means 82 different ways that professionals are responding to these cases of child abuse. And ultimately, the consequence of that is that it's confusing for professionals, especially those that have to work in multiple counties like social workers and prosecutors. You have families that may not get access to all the services that children need to heal from abuse, and cases ultimately slip through the cracks.
The most important benefit to a statewide protocol is that you have stronger cases at the end of an investigation. Because if we have stronger cases at the end of an investigation, you're able to see justice through more completely for the child who was victimized in the beginning. And at the end of the day, it's really what we're all here for. Regardless of what your profession is, our job is to see that child receive justice and to be made whole at the end of the case that they've been victimized upon.
First of all, we're dealing with children who may have been abused or neglected in their own home. So highly traumatized children, and also, as all children are, vulnerable and unable to stand up for themselves. So we all believe that because we're talking about protecting children, they deserve our very best, even when it's difficult to create a protocol that so many different entities can agree to.
One of the great things about the uniform statewide protocol is it ensures that whether you're in North Mississippi or South Mississippi, East Mississippi or West Mississippi, whether you're in a county or the city, that the handling of these cases are done the same across the board. And what that's going to do ultimately is again, make sure that we have a successful prosecution, but most importantly, make sure that these children are put in environments where they can get the resources they need to be safe and become productive citizens for our state.
It gives law enforcement and the other stakeholders, it gives you a blueprint, and it doesn't make any difference where you are in the state of Mississippi. Everyone is using the same best practices, so to speak, and putting those into place and then actually putting them into action whenever they're needed, and training on them, being familiar with them. It's just, that opens up lines of communications where you don't have people from one organization coming in and trying to do things based on a set protocol, and then another organization or another agency or whatever it is not having any idea what's going on.
At the very basic is you've got subject matter experts across the field. So whenever a case is being discussed, you have everybody in the same room that can provide a different perspective. And not only that, but also to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. You know, prosecutors and law enforcement, we work well together day in and day out. But when it comes to crimes against children, that's a different type of crime. And so we need to make sure that we are putting the child first and making sure they're getting the services that they need. Not only a forensic interview, but also counseling and other things for the family.
Child abuse is life-altering for a child, and they deserve to have a system that is coordinated, compassionate, and provides them all of the opportunities available to have a strong case so that they receive justice, that they have services that are going to help them heal from that abuse.
I'm trusting you to protect me. This protocol will help you do that.
As frontline professionals, you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But little compares to being first to respond to a report of child abuse or neglect. An average of 22 Mississippi children walk through the doors of one of our local child advocacy centers each day, and those are just the cases reported. Anyone familiar with the horrors of child maltreatment knows that the time from your first contact with the victim to when they see a trained interviewer at our center can impact their physical, mental, and emotional recovery. That's why we created this minimal facts interview card as a crucial first step in the beginning of any case. It helps first responder investigators, such as law enforcement and social services, gather basic details from a child victim or witness under the age of 18 while assessing their safety and need for medical care. When information cannot be gathered from a non-offending adult, you'll follow these steps. C. Create rapport with the child. H. Hear what the child has to say. I. Identify safety-related facts. L. Limit questions and report information. 1-800-222-8000. D. Document your actions. Remember, asking the child questions is not necessary if the needed information can be obtained from a trusted adult. You just want the basic facts, the perpetrator's name and present location, type of maltreatment, where it happened, and the victim's need for medical care and immediate safety. When finished, you will contact the local Children's Advocacy Center, where a detailed interview is conducted by trained forensic specialists and a multidisciplinary team made up of representatives from child advocacy, CPS, law enforcement, prosecution, and medical professionals oversee and follow the case all along the way. For more information or to request minimal facts interview cards, contact Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi at 601-940-6183 or any child advocacy center.
It's a refreshing find to offset the typical shop, dine, stay resort. At French Camp Historic Village, just off the Natchez Trace in Choctaw County, area residents and travelers can enjoy delicious meals daily at our Council House restaurant. And the lodging at our bed and breakfast is a welcome soft landing. There are stores and outdoors to explore. And when you shop, dine, or stay, you support French Camp Academy students. Come enjoy a breath of fresh air. You'll be pleased you did.
French Camp Academy gives me the opportunities I want and the life skills I need.
The right school makes all the difference when it comes to preparing a student for success. They need a well-rounded learning environment with first-rate academics, sports, and activities on a foundation of spiritual growth and personal development. You'll find this perfect day school experience right down the road at French Camp Academy. It's
one
fine
place.
I'm preparing for a life of purpose and success.
I'm learning to think, live, and lead with integrity.
As a Christ-centered school, our students at French Camp Academy grow through high-quality education, character-building experiences, and exciting opportunities in extracurriculars such as sports, music, and leadership. You'll be challenged to think deeply, live with purpose, and prepare for college, career, and life.
We're discovering our potential at French Camp Academy. It's one fine place.
I'm 67 years old, and cataract surgery from JEA has enhanced my independence and quality of life. I can now enjoy my favorite activities with confidence and less strain in my eyes. I hardly even need these things anymore.
Cataract surgery with a premium lens implant from JEA can help you see better and feel younger. Schedule a screening today.
I can't wait to see better and feel younger.
JEA, your vision, our mission.
Welcome to Koch Foods, a leader in quality poultry for more than 30 years. As an order picker, you are an important part of our team. We want to provide you with all the knowledge and assistance you will need to do the job well. Let's begin with what is expected of an order picker. Order pickers pull sales orders by locating those products in the freezer. You must match the items on the order and build pallets quickly and safely. Then you'll transport them to staging areas, where they will be loaded onto trailers for distribution to customers. The order picker is one of the most important links between the processing plants, which deliver to us in bulk, and our customers. Your task starts when a ticket is issued from your supervisor. This ticket includes all the information you will need to find the product in the freezer. Before you enter the freezer, make sure you have a clipboard, your pick ticket, noting the staging location at the bottom of the page, matching load tags, a blank damage report, scratch paper and calculator, box cutter, and plenty of pens and pencils. First, check that your name is at the top of the picks. Just before you enter the freezer, make sure the load tags match your ticket and timestamp at the top left side of the page. The location will be the first bit of info needed. When you get there, confirm the number at the end of each aisle. This helps you find your place in the freezer. Once you find your location, check the product code, lot number, and case count. Before you begin, review your ticket and plan your route through the freezer efficiently. However, do not pre-number pallets on the ticket. This can cause you to miss a location. Once you're prepared, find your forklift and sign into 2 screens. You will make sure your lift is in good operating condition by going through a checklist of 10 questions. This equipment pre-checklist is a company and regulatory requirement and cannot be skipped or shortened. So, let's move into the freezer for a simple run-through. The first step in building pallets is picking up an empty A-grade wooden pallet. All products will stack on this pallet. Start with the heaviest items placed on the bottom. Don't stack cases directly on the floor or rack supports or on top of nearby pallets. Always pull full layers from the top, not off the front of the pallet. When cutting plastic, roll it up and dispose of it properly. Do not throw plastic on the floor or leave it hanging off the pallet. Note the pallet numbers on the ticket as you go. And remember, as you pick, it is important to verify that you are picking the correct product code. Compare your pick ticket or computer screen info with the label on the case. A product's pallet ID tag might scan properly, and it might even have the correct lot tag, but still be the wrong product for your order. Again, check that case label to be sure. Also, when you're picking only a few items from a pallet, always leave at least one box of the product showing the product identifier label. This is important. It allows the next picker to correctly identify the remaining product on the pallet. If you run across a damage tag that won't scan, you'll need to type it in manually. Check the pallet condition as you pull orders. If any are broken or in bad condition, take them to the pallet changer before continuing. Then take it to the wrap machine. When your load is complete, attach the load tag on the box. Be sure not to cover the product number. Move the wrapped pallets to the indicated staging area noted on your pick tickets. Timestamp the top right side of the pick ticket when completed. This is the final freezer step. Turn in the ticket to your supervisor, clean up any messes you made, and remove all your supplies. Log out of the computer. Now let's take a look at two of the most common problems that may come up and how to fix them. When a product on your ticket is not found, we call this not in location, NIL. If that happens, check the procedure area first. Check all 4 levels, plus 3 bays to the right, 3 bays to the left, and 3 bays across the aisle. If the pallet is still not found, call your supervisor right away using the call box on your lift. Make a note on your pick ticket and make 2 copies, one for your supervisor and one for the billing clerk. The billing clerk will give you instructions and a new ticket for replacement, called a reallocation. Also, call your supervisor for shortages, damages, or anything unusual you may need to view. Damages are another issue. When you encounter damaged product with bags intact, you should replace the box. Call your supervisor, he will advise you. If the bags are torn and product is exposed, it must be discarded. Be sure to complete a damage report and have a QA tech view the damage. The QA tech will sign the damage report and disposition, then make 3 copies, one for the billing clerk, one for inventory, and one for your supervisor. The billing clerk will issue a replacement with a reallocation. Remember that any unusual situation during your shift must be brought to your supervisor's attention. Make a note of the situation on your ticket and how that situation was resolved. Your note must be signed by a supervisor or witness. In addition to what you've learned so far, here are some helpful tips to always keep in mind. Do verify that you are picking the correct product code by comparing your pick ticket with the label on the case. Always double-check your numbers. Do remember to pick the exact lots and quantities called for by your pick ticket or screen. Never switch lot or pallet ID tags between pallets. As a responsible company, we always need to be able to track where every pallet goes, from production all the way through to the customer. Don't take the pallet you are picking from away from its bay, unless you need the whole pallet. The slot may be filled when you return, or you might put it back in the wrong location. Don't completely block an aisle. When you're stacking your pallet in an aisle, which is correct procedure, keep to one side. Allow forklift traffic to pass safely. Also, when you are driving past a picker, slow down. Make sure they see you and make sure you have enough room to safely pass. Do honk whenever you approach an aisle intersection and watch for crossing traffic. Don't attempt to use your lift to push off multiple layers of product onto another pallet. This usually results in damage or crushing. Don't push or slide pallets on the floor with your equipment or with another pallet that's on your forks. It's not safe and could hurt a coworker. It also damages equipment and floors. Don't run over trash or wooden pieces. Those could damage your lift. Don't drive forward with a pallet on the forks. Do know your surroundings. Check where you are before pulling a pallet down. Do follow not-in-location procedure, NIL procedure, before calling your supervisor. Do get plenty of rest before your shift. Being tired causes many mistakes, sometimes harmful. And finally, don't be afraid to ask questions. We want you to ask. It proves you're interested in doing the job correctly. Now, let's take a look at a few what-if situations, and you tell us what the right response is. What if you drop a pallet, or you hit the pallet in the rack next to yours? What if you find a small problem with your equipment during your pre-shift check? What if you hit a rack or freezer door with your equipment? What if you can't find the pallet or lot your ticket calls for in location? What if you find a pallet with the right lot tag, but a different product code label? Remember, your supervisor is always available to answer any questions you may have and help you during your shift. Welcome to the Koch Foods Distribution Team.